I have a huge biology test tomorrow, and this book just isn't helping me learn evolution.
Well, I wish I could help you out, but I have to go to track practice now.
I'm never gonna understand evolution.
Don't say that, Claudia.
Charles Darwin?
Yes, it's me, Charles Darwin, and I will help you learn evolution so you ace your test tomorrow. Let's start at the place where it all began, the Galapagos Islands. Here we are, the Galapagos Islands, where I began my research on evolution.
Wow. So what did you study here?
Well, Claudia, I spent most of my time on the shore gathering fossils, observing organisms, and recording data that I would take home with me. After I returned home to England, my colleagues and I analyzed my collection, and I came to the conclusion that Earth and its species are constantly changing. I invented the idea of natural selection. That is, only those who are well enough suited to survive and produce offspring, carrying on the well-suited traits from generation to generation. I have four main ideas to go along with this. The first is variation and adaptation. This explains that there is a variation amongst members of the population, and some are better suited / adapted to their environment compared to other members. The next idea is that there's a struggle for existence. All species have a huge potential to reproduce, but resources are limited. So there's a competition for these resources, or a struggle to survive. Next is a little something I call survival of the fittest. Only the organisms best suited for their environment can survive and reproduce. This leads to my last and final point, known as descent with modification. This idea explains that because an unequal reproduction between suited and unsuited organisms, this leads to my last and final point, known as descent with modification. This idea explains that because of the unequal reproduction between suited and unsuited organisms, eventually there will be a gradual change in the population with characteristics favorable to that particular environment.
Wow, that's so cool. But natural selection still kind of confuses me. Do you have an example to help me figure it out?
Of course. Let's take giraffes, for example. Years ago, there were two kinds of giraffes, ones with short necks and ones with long necks. Since their food is very high up, since their food is high up, the giraffes with the long necks were able to reach the food, while the giraffes with the short necks were not. Eventually, the giraffes with the short necks died out, and the giraffes with the long necks passed down the preferable traits to their offspring. That's natural selection.
Oh, okay, I get it now. Do you have any other evidence of evolution other than your studies in the Galapagos?
I have a friend who's an expert on the evidence of evolution. Maybe you should talk to her.
Okay, I'll go talk to her. Thanks, Charles Darwin. Hello! I heard you're one of Charles Darwin's friends who knows a lot about the evidence of evolution. Can you explain that to me? I have this huge bio test tomorrow on evolution, and I don't even know what proves that evolution is a thing.
Yeah, so what questions do you have?
I just don't get what the evidence of evolution is. I know what evolution is, that it's a change over time, but how do we know that it's true? Like, what's our evidence?
Well, the Earth originated 3.5 billion years ago, and the evidence of this is the microfossils of stromatolites, which are ancient photosynthetic prokaryotes, which that proves that the Earth was in existence 3.5 billion years ago.
Okay, all right, thanks for the help, but I bet other Gilmore students have some misconceptions like I do about evolution.
We should go find out. Let's go find Aaron and ask some students some questions about evolution.
my name is Erin, and I'm walking the streets of Gilmore to see what students and faculty think of evolution. Hopefully, we hope a few misinformed students out. Here I am interviewing Miss McKinnon, English teacher at Gilmore Academy. Hello, Miss McKinnon. How are you today?
I'm good.
Okay, Miss McKinnon,
Thank you.
what do you know about evolution?
Well, I'm an English teacher. I studied in high school, but I don't know much. What I do think is that evolution causes organisms to improve over time.
Well, unfortunately, Miss McKinnon, that's not entirely correct. Evolution does not improve the quality of life for organisms. It just makes organisms better suited to their surroundings.
Oh, I guess that does make sense. Can't believe I didn't know that.
Thank you for your time, Miss McKinnon.
Thank you.
Here I am interviewing a Gilmore student. Gilmore student, what is your name and grade?
My name is Hannah Kirshner and I'm a junior.
So, Hannah, what do you know about evolution?
Well, since evolution is a theory, I know that it is not observable or testable.
Well, I hate to tell you, Hannah, but that is not an accurate fact. Evolution, in fact, is observable or testable. Peter and Rosemary Grant did it 30 years ago. Or no, I'm sorry, they didn't do it 30 years ago. It took them 30 years to observe and test the evolution of finches in the Galapagos Islands. They noticed that during wet seasons, the average beak size of a finch would decrease because it was more efficient for eating the abundant small seeds, whereas during the dry season, there would be an increase in beak size due to the shortage of small seeds.
Wow, thanks for explaining it to me.
That's no problem. Here I am interviewing another Gilmore student. Gilmore student, what is your name and grade?
My name is John Kunzo III, and I'm in 10th grade.
So, John, what do you know about evolution?
Is evolution even true? I hear that gaps in fossil records disprove this evolution thing.
You see, that's actually a very common misconception about biology. In fact, scientists actually expect that for many evolutionary transitions, that there will be gaps in fossil records. Most organisms do not have body parts that fossilize very well. And for those that do, the environmental conditions for forming good fossils are very rare. That being said, there have only been a small percentage of discoveries made of these fossils, which explains the gap in fossil records.
Huh, I never knew that. Guess evolution is real.
Here I am with Mrs. Angelo, the Associate Athletic Director of the upper school, the Director of Athletics at the middle school, and the softball coach. Mrs. Angelo, what do you know about evolution?
Well, I know that natural selection involves organisms trying to adapt.
Well, actually, this is not true. This is actually how French naturalist Jean-Baptiste Lamarck believed evolution occurred. Organisms do not try to adapt. In a population, there is variation among the organisms, and some of them are more suited for the specific environment. Those who are more suited survive and pass on to offspring. This being said, the organisms do not try to change, some are just more suited.
Uh-oh, I guess I need to study my biology better.
Here I am interviewing another Gilmore student. Gilmore student, what is your name and grade?
My name is Eric Christopher Olshaker, and I'm in grade 11.
So, Eric, can you tell us what you know about evolution?
I'm pretty sure natural selection is the only way that populations can change over time.
Well, I have to tell you, Eric, that is not correct. It is only one of the many ways that populations can change over time, but not the only one. Aside from natural selection, there are two other mechanisms that cause evolution. The other two are genetic drift and gene flow. Genetic drift is usually because of a chance event and causes a fluctuation in the allele frequencies from one generation to another. In genetic drift, there are two things, which are bottleneck effect and founder's effect. Gene flow is a change in allele frequencies due to the gain or loss of alleles when fertile members move into or out of a population when gametes are transferred between populations. So, Eric, I hope this cleared up the misconception that natural selection is the only way that populations can change over time.
Oh man, thanks for clearing that up for me.
Well, that's all the time we have for interviews today. It seems like a lot of students at Gilmore are misinformed about biology. I hope we helped some of them out today.
Claudia, do you understand the theory of evolution now?
Yeah, I think I do. Thanks for all your help, Charles Darwin.
You're welcome, Claudia. I hope you do well on your test.